It was June 14, 2022. At 7:45 p.m. the sun was setting over the quiet neighborhood, casting a soft orange glow on the streets below.
Maya stood by the window of her small home, watching the evening breeze rustle the trees. The golden light painted everything beautifully, but inside, Maya felt only darkness. The life she had built over the years felt like a cage of silence, neglect, and loneliness.
She thought about her husband Oren, who had left for another long business trip that morning. They barely exchanged words anymore.
The house felt too large, too empty without him, and the echo of the silence left her with only her thoughts.
She had tried for years to bring the warmth back into their marriage, but each attempt felt more desperate than the last. She was a housewife trapped in a life that no longer felt like her own.
That evening, as the clock ticked closer to 8 o'clock p.m., she found herself thinking about Samir, the young man who lived next door.
Little did she know that by the end of that summer, her entire world would come crashing down, leaving behind nothing but devastation and heartbreak.
Maya had been married to her husband Arun for over 10 years.
Their marriage, once full of passion and excitement, had withered into a mundane routine.
Arun, a hard-working businessman,
was always busy with work. His absence was felt in the cold silence that filled their home, leaving Maya to battle her loneliness day after day.
Arun was not a bad man,
but his love for Maya had faded into something mechanical.
They rarely spoke, and when they did, it was about the grocery list or household chores. Maya was a dutiful wife, but deep down, she yearned for affection, for someone to look at her the way people do in movies, with desire, with love, with understanding. Across the street lived a family Maya had known for years, and their son, Samir, in his early 20s, had just returned from university for the summer. With his charming demeanor and a smile that radiated warmth, Samir made Maya feel seen in a way she hadn't in years. What started as casual exchanges over the garden fence quickly turned into more profound conversations that made her heart race.
Samir was unlike Arun.
He listened to Maya's every word, laughing at her jokes, complimenting her looks, and paying attention to the little things no one else noticed anymore.
His youth and energy made Maya feel alive again, and she found herself drawn to him in a way she couldn't explain.
One evening, as the sun set, Maya sat on her porch when Samir walked by. They chatted easily, his cologne mixing with the warm air.
When he sat close and lightly touched her hand, Maya felt a rush of emotions she hadn't experienced in years.
The simple touch sparked something deep inside her, leaving her heart racing and breathless.
That night, they crossed a line they couldn't return from.
Secret meetings and whispered promises soon followed, each moment with Samir making Maya feel alive again. He made her feel beautiful, wanted, and truly seen emotions she hadn't felt in years. In his arms, she rediscovered a part of herself she thought was lost forever. Each day, the guilt tugged at Maya's heart.
She knew their affair was wrong, a secret that could destroy everything.
But the passion and freedom it brought were too hard to let go.
Samir felt the same, caught up in his desire for her, unable to see past the excitement of their forbidden love.
The more they tried to resist, the deeper they fell, completely wrapped up in each other. The affair started with stolen glances, secret late-night texts, and quick touches when no one was watching. With Samir, Maya felt alive, desired, and beautiful in ways she hadn't for years. Their love was intense and passionate, both knowing it was wrong but unable to stop. Each kiss made her feel alive, but the guilt always crept in. She was a wife, bound by promises to Arun, yet Samir's smile made her forget everything. Every time she saw him, the guilt disappeared, and she gave into the passion of their forbidden love. Samir was falling for her too, deeply, madly. He was no longer just the neighbor's son, he was her escape, her salvation from the loneliness that had consumed her. But what neither of them realized was that secrets this dangerous never stay hidden for long. On August 3, 2022, at 9:15 p.m., everything fell apart. Arun came home early, feeling uneasy for weeks, sensing a growing distance between him and Maya. As he stepped inside, the familiar scent of home filled the air, and he hoped they could return to the love they once shared. Tired but longing for a connection, he quietly searched for Maya, unaware that everything had already changed. But as he stepped inside,
he heard something voices coming from the living room.
Quiet whispers, followed by the sound of stifled laughter. Aaron's heart pounded in his chest.
Slowly, he moved towards the door, and when he saw them, Maya and Samir, wrapped in each other's arms, his world shattered.
The room fell silent as Aaron saw the truth, his heart breaking. Maya stood with Samir, and Aaron's anger erupted. He attacked Samir, and they fought while Maya screamed. The house was filled with chaos. In the end, Samir fled, leaving behind a mess of broken trust and hurt.
In the aftermath, the house felt like a tomb.
Aaron refused to speak to Maya, locking himself in the spare bedroom, while she was left to deal with the crushing guilt of what she had done.
Samir was gone, and with him, the brief joy she had found. All that remained was the reality of her betrayal.
Days turned into nights, and nights into weeks. Maya couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Aaron's face, filled with pain and anger.
She had destroyed the man who had once loved her, and now she had to live with that knowledge.
But what Maya didn't know was that Aaron's pain had turned into something darker. The quiet man she had once known was now consumed by a desire for revenge.
On August 15, 2022, at 11:45 p.m., Aaron left the house in the dead of night. His mind was clouded by thoughts of betrayal and loss, and in his heart, a terrible rage was building. He wasn't just heartbroken anymore, he wanted Samir to pay.
The next morning, the neighborhood woke up to a terrible tragedy. Samir's lifeless body was found in a dark alley, beaten beyond recognition.
The news spread like wildfire, and Maya's heart shattered all over again.
She knew, deep down, that Aaron had done it.
When he came home, bruised and empty-eyed, Maya couldn't bear to look at him.
The man she once loved now seemed like a stranger, a victim of the pain she had caused. The police arrested Aaron for Samir's murder, and Maya was left with overwhelming guilt.
Aaron was sentenced to life in prison, while Maya, though free, was tormented by her actions.
Each day, she relived the tragedy, whispering Samir's name at night, knowing she could never undo the pain she caused. What began on a quiet summer evening in June led to disaster by August, destroying 3 lives forever. Love, loneliness, and betrayal tore apart a family, leaving behind a tragedy that would never be forgotten.
Maya was left alone, carrying only painful memories and the harsh truth that some mistakes can never be forgiven. The weight of her choices remained with her, a constant reminder of the past she could never change.